Committee of the Whole will please come to order. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Taberky?
Present.
Ms. Hausfeld?
Here.
Mr. Ray Culbertson?
Here.
And Mr. Schildmeyer?
Present.
Let the record show 4 members are present, 3 members are absent. Council, what is your pleasure on the written minutes of the February 23rd council meeting?
Mr. President,
Mr. Taberky?
make a motion to approve the written minutes of the February 23rd council meeting.
I'll second that, Mr. President.
A motion by Mr. Taberky, seconded by Ms. Hausfeld to approve the written minutes of the February 23rd council meeting. Are there any remarks? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. We'll move to reports of administrative officials. Mayor Stuchel.
Thank you, Mr. President. An update on the improvements at the Vine Street Park Pavilion. We'll be starting on the roof repair very soon and then moving on to the painting of the structure before the resurfacing starts. As previously stated, there are 2 interior basketball courts and 2 new pickleball courts, all with non-skid surface, and the open-air court will remain with new asphalt. The entire complex will be made to be one level with no step down going into the pavilion. New lighting will be installed overhead and around the perimeter of the structure. We're also adding a new sound system to the pool, the pavilion, and the field area that will be great for our community events. The Village of St. Bernard was the recipient of a $15,000 grant through We Thrive, and we're very grateful for that. Once the project is complete, our Recreation Department will be announcing the start of a pickleball league. I'd also like to thank our Fire Chief Brian Young and our awesome fire department for their response to the Emory plant on Monday evening. This was a scary situation after hearing the explosion, and we were very fortunate there was no chemical threat to our residents. I appreciate everyone who helped in sharing information about the incident throughout the community. Lastly, I received an email regarding our proposed charter amendments that are on the May ballot. As to the notifying the residents by mail in advance of the election, our outside legal counsel is working on this, but we are planning on mailing the first wave next week and a potential publication in the Inquirer, and I will keep you posted on this. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Auditor, Ms. Brickwig.
Thank you, Mr. President. So to add on to Jonathan's report, I need to ask council for an additional appropriation of the $15,000 that we're receiving from a grant so they can go out and fill out their POs and get everything started to go. I'm suggesting Capital Improvement Fund 0708 to put it in. And that's all I have at this point, yeah.
Mr. President,
Mr. Taberky.
make a motion, put an orders on the table for additional appropriation of $15,000.
I'll second that.
A motion by Mr. Taberky, seconded by Mr. Ray Culbertson to put an additional appropriation ordinance on the table for the grant money. Any remarks? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
I just have 2 short things. I sent out an email to all of council. As you can see, the auditor decided he wanted to change that audit report. So I put new ones in your boxes. The ones where you fill out, you answer the 5 questions, they decided to change the wording of the questions. It doesn't look like it really is much, but you need to fill out new ones if you've already filled them out. And finally, you probably received an email about an audit we had on the Ohio Police and Fire Pension Fund, and it turned out there was no problems at all. So that concludes my report.
Is that just council that gets those? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Law Director, Ms. Van Valkenburg.
Thank you. I do apologize. It came to my attention yesterday that we need to prepare a resolution to update our, basically not, it is an update, but we're just going to memorialize our practice of posting notices and meeting minutes and things like that on basically the bulletin board, the enclosed bulletin board outside of City Hall. That is our practice. It's not been memorialized. So I will be presenting a resolution to that effect, or at least we're going to I'm double checking if that's still necessary. It has been something that has been just under discussion, and if so I would like that to be put on the table should I determine that it's needed for next meeting. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Taberky.
Valerie, last year we passed an ordinance stating we're going to put them out there.
Yes,
And we listed
but there was
locations.
some specification of where it needed to be, door versus basically the bulletin board. So that's what that will address.
You confused me. There's specifications of what? What the specifications?
Just we'll be specifying that it's where it is as opposed to on the door, which is what, there was some concern that it needed to be on the door.
So I thought that, excuse me, Mr. President.
Mr. Berkey.
If I remember correctly, the ordinance we passed last year specified it would be in the window box on the side of the building.
That's why I said, I need to double check that.
Okay.
That is something that has been under discussion.
The safety center and here at
Yes.
City Hall.
Yes. Well, I need to double check that, so and if it does need to be specified, I will be bringing that forth as a resolution. And ask that it be
Resolution
put
or
on the
ordinance?
table.
Because we
No,
did
we've
ordinance
done,
last year.
well, we've done the other notifications, the updates as a resolution. So I'll take a look at that and see what needs to be done. But we had done the others as a resolution.
But if we do a motion just to cover
Yes,
resolution or ordinance as
right,
needed to
please.
cover.
Mr. President, make a
Mr.
motion to put on the table an ordinance or resolution to cover Valerie's questions on these
Notifications.
notification of meetings and minutes and stuff.
Yes, thank you.
A motion by Mr. DeBerke, seconded by Ms. Hausfeld to prepare a resolution or ordinance, whichever is needed, to update the notice for the meetings and the minutes as posted. Are there any remarks? Not all those in favor say aye. Opposed? So ordered.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'm just curious, where's this discussion? Is this part of that lawsuit? I thought we finalized the lawsuit.
No? Why would you? No, it's part of that.
Because I cut a check?
Hmm?
Because I cut a check?
Okay. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay. And Treasurer, Safety and Service Director, Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Mr. President. We need insurance. So the insurance policy this year is $126,700 or $174. $126,174. It went up. Also, our pollution policy is due. It's for 3 years. That's $14,000. And the cyber insurance, which I thought was included in our policy, was not. So that's actually $13,000 more dollars. So in 2K7, I would like council to appropriate $33,000 more dollars for insurance. And that concludes my report.
Mr. President?
How about the Orchard Street ordinance?
The ordinance for Orchard Street is so that I can go with Neiman. They won the bid for Orchard, and they would be prepared to start as soon as we pass it.
Mr. President,
Berkey,
first make a motion to put ordinance 8, 2023 on the table for the Newman Company working on Orchard Street.
I'll second that, Mr. President.
A motion by Mr. DeBerke, seconded by Ms. Hausfeld to place an ordinance on the table for the Orchard Street project. Are there any remarks? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. So what you're looking for is 33,000 additional appropriation added to that ordinance. Is there a motion to add the 33,000 to the already approved additional appropriation?
Mr. President,
Mr. DeBerke?
make a motion to add the $33,000 additional appropriation for insurance to the other additional appropriation ordinance. Hopefully I'll be able to talk soon.
I'll second that, Mr.
I don't know.
A motion by Mr. DeBerke, seconded by Ms. Hausfeld to add an additional 33,000 appropriation for the insurance needs. Are there any remarks? If not, all those in favor of adding that to the appropriation ordinance, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Anything else? That's it.
No, thank you, Mr. President.
All right.
Thank you, council.
Tax Administrator, Ms. Helms.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have February of 2023's tax report. Collections for February were $611,881. February of 2023 is up 2.19% from February of 2022. Delinquent tax collected with capital recovery was $692. Delinquent tax collected with the Ohio Attorney General's office was $18,387. and taxes paid through the e-file portal were $4,631. Just a reminder that your St. Bernard taxes are due by April 18th. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you much. Move to reports of standing committees. Finance, Mr. Taberky.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Block Watch will hold its quarterly meeting Thursday, March 16th, 6:30 at the State Center. We'll be having CPR and AED training. Who's my report, Mr. President?
Thank you. Service, Ms. Hausfeld.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Marketing, Mr. Ray Culbertson.
Thanks, Mr. President. The next meeting for the St. Bernard Historical Society will take place on Monday, March 20th at 7 p.m. in the upper level of the municipal building. There will be a presentation of the mysteries of Spring Grove Cemetery given by Rick Kennedy. Please help by becoming a member of the Historical Society. Annual memberships are $25 for a family, $15 for adults, $10 for seniors, $50 for a business, and $500 for an individual lifetime membership. And to echo what Jonathan said, I'd like to thank our first responders. As we're all home wondering if we should shut our windows and doors, they're running into the scene, and everything you do is greatly appreciated. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Business and industry, Mr. Schultmeyer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've got a report out from Catherine Fitzgerald of Alloy Economic Development. Just a quick update. They will be providing their written report next month, but she gave me a few bullet points. They've done background and existing conditions research, and what they've done is they've met with the village and tax administrator and auditor for properties in the business district and researched the village's community reinvestment area guidelines. As far as business retention meetings, they've completed meetings with Pro Paint or Pros Paint, Precision Pro Golf, and Sherpy's Produce and Deli. Priority companies that they're going to attempt to schedule meetings with in the next month include P&G, Rumpke, and PMS. And then lastly, they wanted to report out that BASF Enterprise Zone Agreement, the project which would involve $70.4 million in investment and create 9 new jobs and retain 31 jobs, is scheduled for approval by the county commissioners next Thursday. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address council this evening? If not, what is council's pleasure on the absent members?
Mr. President,
Mr. Taberky.
make a motion to excuse the absent members.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Taberky, second by Mr. Ray Culbertson to excuse the absent members. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. I show one resolution, possibly ordinance to be determined. So it could be 3 ordinances, but at least 1 resolution and 2 ordinances. This time I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President,
Mr. Ray Culbertson.
make a motion we adjourn.
A motion by Mr. Ray Culbertson, second by Mr. Schultmeyer to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? So ordered.